Been a big weekend for Big Sills here. Big weekend. New digs, as you see, working on the background, getting all our stuff back up again. So, of course, we have the City of Brotherly Love behind us. And boy, I'll tell you what a day already. What an absolute day already. Super Bowl MVP. And I'm sitting there like, hang on here. You beat the shitty Cowboys as always. Here we go again. Here we go again. Here, you beat nobody. Now, look, again, we're going to find out over the next 3 days who you are. By the way, also, we are powered by our friends at BetUS for the next 4 hours. Please check out the website. We so appreciate you guys. What a weekend, man. I'm moving all my stuff and moving into a new place, and what an absolute nightmare that's been. Not as bad as the Cowboy nightmare going on. It is week 10 of the National Football League. Finally, it closes up tonight. Then we move on to week 11. Eagles in a short work week. They've got the Commanders on Thursday. We're already hearing, look at that superstar team. You've beaten one team with a winning record. Pipe down. Because the voice of reason is now here. The voice of reason. Not that shit you hear on WIP or not that shit you hear with Zander. By the way, Zander will join us at 3:30. JAKIB will join us at 4:30. So again, we'll give you our takeaways. We will also give you the numbers, and we'll give you our game balls here. Out of the gate, just listening to people and watching the response of people. How about that Detroit Lions football team last night? What a resilient team. The quarterback throws for 5 interceptions, and they still win. Here's the difference between Jared Goff and Jalen Hurts. Hurts can't do that against a good team. Remember something, Houston's a playoff team. The Cowboys are going into next April's draft. That's not a takeaway game. The Cowboy game is not a takeaway game. It's not, as much as you think it is. Last night, the Lions get that win, and they played awful. Awful. Hit the like button. By the way, the first 15 minutes is the most important when it comes to our likes. Please hit it. Give us a running total after 15. Let's see if we can break some records right now. What I'd like to do from this day forward, November 11th, I'm going to keep a running tab to see if we can beat that number each and every single day. 15 minutes. Someone give me a running total on the like number, and I want to try to beat that each and every single day. Also, all super chats, like you see Brian here, all go to the top. By the way, that Jared Goff, what a resilient dude. Against a playoff team. Nice job, guys. Sills, besides the 5 sacks, missed reads, red zone interception, and a fumble backed up, Jalen Hurts had a masterclass day. Best QB ever. Best QB in Eagle history. That's pretty much sums it up. That's how I saw the game. Yeah, but here's certain people, and I won't name any names. He had a little slow start, but he rallied and played great. Okay, so half the test you sucked, and then the other test, part of the test, you were good. You know what that means? You're 500, which means you're average. That's what it means. I mean, seriously, listen to that. I mean, again, not to mention any names, but, he didn't really get out to a really strong start. By the way, that shitty first drive again. I mean, how many drives did he start this game with? And it got messed up because of sacks. 5 sacks against that team? Are Eagle fans beating their chests? Yes, they are beating their chest. They think they're going to New Orleans. They think they're going to New Orleans beating nobody. Don't wait. Hey, we're going to find out. By the way, I will officially change my tune over the next 3 weeks on how the Eagles play. I promise you. But I don't think I will. Sills, I agree. This isn't a takeaway game. It's not. Way to go. That's the joke. But every game I'm buying more and more into this young defense. I'll take that. All super chats go to the top. First 15 minutes, we're trying to break records now when it comes to the like number. Hey, Zander, I just missed Brian's new super chat. If I could get that up there, please. I'd appreciate it. Absolutely. This is not a takeaway game. Relative. Sills, close the curtains, man. I can see you because of the sun glare. No, you can see me because it's Big Sills. Zander, I missed the super chat from Brian. I want to make sure I get that bad puppy up there. See here. See if he wants full credit for half the work. I mean, these bums praise mediocrity. Absolutely. You're praising a mediocre performance. Sills, he had 4 touchdowns. Against that? Don't start your shit, Sills. We busted that Cowboy ass. Yeah, I know you did. Going to get to my takeaways here in a minute. Please hit the like button. Hey, by the way, was there a Jordan Davis sighting anywhere? That kid sucks. It's official. He sucks, man. I mean, when he register 1 tackle. Oh, by the way, congratulations to Bryce Huff. It's only week 10 of the NFL, and he's got an official full sack. Holy shit. Unbelievable sign by Howie Roseman here. All right. Let's get to the takeaways here. By the way, give me a grade on what you would give that Eagle performance against the Cowboys. Hit the like button, please. And by the way, 15 minutes in, give me a like total number. What'd you think? Give me a grade. A+ is senor. B, says Sue. Let's see here. They were running right at Dean and blitzing Hurts like the Bucs game. I could see it already. And where's the blitz read? No Barkley, no Hurts. Brian C. There you go. B+. Okay. Behave, Dan. William Penn is over your shoulder. William Penn is a truth teller. Truth, justice, and the Big Sills way. Here's my man, Bob. Yeah, Sills is broadcasting live from Trump Tower. Yes, Trump Tower. I'm broadcasting live. Sills, here's the takeaway. Young Eagles did not play down to their competition. They knew they were better, played better, and even when they stumbled, they never let up. Absolutely true. Ricky Ricardo ran all over them. I was shocked he had any yards. I'm not giving no grade for this game. There you go. Now, I like that. There's takeaways from it, though. Hey, and by the way, will this message, I hope, get to Tony Romo? Why do you have to be such a suck-off to the Cowboys? I mean, my God almighty, they're horrible, and you're trying to find excuses on why they're horrible. Why don't you just say it? Your owner did not put a good football team together. Your owner in the last 30 years has 4 playoff wins, and it's a fraudulent franchise now run by a guy who's a fraudulent general manager posing as a GM. Why don't you just say that? I'm sorry, 304, to be so hard on your team, but that Dallas Cowboy team has been driven into the ground for 30 years by that owner. The lack of institutional control in knowing roles, head coach, personnel director, general manager, owner. has influenced that football team for 30 years. And it came to a head. Jerry Jones is out of gas. That team is ass. I'm telling you, the Dallas Cowboys are in worse shape than when Jimmy took over when they were 1-15. It was not a takeaway game. Hurts isn't elite. He's still working. I will admit I'm happy he doesn't let the setbacks hold him down. Defense was on fire. Absolutely true. All of that by Q. See, that's a reasonable person there. The rest of you guys like M. Reyes and all you guys, you look at Jalen Hurts and I see an average football player. Wait a minute. He has horrific reads in the game. He turns the football over, and I'm supposed to go, he's playing MVP level. This guy's had 3 games this year where you went, pretty good stuff. The rest of them have been what? Below average. No, average. Not below average. Average. Hit the like button, please. 4 minutes away from 15 minutes. Do me a favor. Make sure you give me a running total on that. Want to know what we're going to do? Because that's going to be the number we're going to start setting each and every single week here or day here. If the Eagle fans are happy about this win or any wins against these shitty teams, then they need a reality check. Plus, we should be blowing these teams out. Well, they blew them out yesterday. We should act like we've been there, like a championship football team. It's a great take, Polska. Absolutely great take. After the Eagles shut down Washington, no more Owl. Okay. No. Washington, the Rams, and the Ravens. Then we'll know who you are. You think Deion and Shador will be in Dallas next year? I don't think Deion will. I wouldn't want Deion Sanders as my head football coach in Dallas. If I had to pick a coach, it would be somebody like John Gruden or somebody like that. That would be the head football coach, or Bill Belichick. That would be mine. Hey, Sills, don't you think how this defense is flying around and pursuing better? We're going to get there. Frankie, we're going to get there. Here, look at this guy. Get this. Look at this dickhead here. Seals, you always find some bullshit to say when Jalen and the Eagles win. Okay, it's a personal opinion, and it's my takeaway from that game that the Dallas Cowboys offer nothing up for me to take anything away from, except a few things. It's an overview more than factual things because I don't know how good Philly is, and I surely do know how bad. Get this. I know more about Dallas being bad than I know how good Philly is. That's a fair comment. The Dallas Cowboys they can't run it. They can't stop the run. They can't play pass defense. But you know what they can do? They can pass rush. And the one thing they did great is get to your guy. Your guy holds the ball too long. Your guy holds the ball too long. And with a competent offense on the other side of the ball game, you would have lost that game because Dallas had your ass. Jalen Hurts looked average in that game. I'm thoroughly convinced if Jalen Hurts took a shit that these dudes like M. Reyes and LJ might sniff it. Jalen Hurts is Will Levis. Brian, love you, man. Okay? Hit the like button. Appreciate it. We are 1 minute away. Want to get a number on that like number. See if we can really bust it out here. All super chats go to the top. Let's see here. Seals, could you imagine a player talking about Jimmy Johnson the way Micah talks about Mike McCarthy? Micah Parsons is a piece of shit. I have no respect for him. None. This guy thinks he's like the star. He's not. I mean, he had a really good game, but still, you can't be you can't be decisive like this, and you can't be a person that's on an island. Look at me, I'm great, and you suck. You're in this together, man. He's an awful teammate. Yeah, back to my takeaways. Tony Romo, stop sucking off the Cowboys. It's unbecoming of a broadcaster. I mean, if you're going to try to have some partial takeaways on a game and you're going to broadcast a game, act like you're not rooting for the Cowboys. Once again, that first drive ended by, what was it, third and 33? Sack. I mean, I don't know. That first drive, and then Cooper Rush gives him a gift and hands the football back to the Eagles. I mean, absolutely awesome. Awful. By the way, that red zone pick he threw was terrible. Was late. Wasn't reading. Going across the middle again. I mean, 3 of the first 4 drives ended in a result because Hurts took a sack. Good teams, that won't work. But here, someone explain this to me. Why is Zeke Elliott on the Cowboys and Derrick Henry's not? Derrick Henry costs less than Jalen Hurts. Or excuse me, costs less than Derrick Henry. Why again is Zeke Elliott on the Cowboys? He's terrible, man. I've never seen more roster spots handed out in Dallas nowadays in my life. I mean, it's like you're getting a hall pass. Unbelievable on why that guy's still on that football team. I cannot believe it. Top 5 passer rating. Guy was average. Get this. How about your passer rating and go like this? This guy had horrible throws in the game, 2 massive turnovers against a shitty team. Thank God. Top 5 passer rating. That's what you came away with last night, was a top 5 passer rating. Okay. Well, there's nothing to explain to you then, and nothing more I can tell you. If you thought that was a top 5 passing performance by your quarterback, you don't know what you're looking at. Top 5 passer rating. You're right. That guy looked great last night. Oh, my God. I'll tell you who did look great. This Zach Bond guy is unbelievable. I was on the postgame show with John McMullen yesterday. I implore you to go back and watch it. I've rarely seen shit like this. I mean, Zander wants to give credit to Howie Roseman. No, you give credit to Vic for finding him and Howie for signing him. Just like Jeff Stoutland. Vic Fangio is now a linebacker guy who knows what he's looking at, and he tells you exactly what he's looking at, and you know who to go after the same way Stoutland knows what to look for in an offensive lineman. Howie gets credit for signing him, not finding him. There's a big difference. You know why that's a true thing? He can't draft him. If Howie Roseman could find linebackers, don't you think he'd be drafting them? Ask yourself that. All these people now in Philly going, this is one of the greatest signs by Howie Roseman. He did so little in this process. Vic goes, I want this guy. And he goes, okay, and he signs him. How does Howie get credit for that? Using somebody else's money to sign a guy that was recommended to him by Vic Fangio. How does that guy get the credit for it? He didn't find him. I could see if Howie Roseman had been drafting linebackers and you guys were linebacker central. But you're not. You whiff on more NFL linebackers than anybody in the NFC East. Any fan that says you shouldn't be happy about a win in the NFL is a dumbass. Get this. Wins in the NFL are hard. Sills knows that, but not a champion yet. How about this, Anthony? Wins in the NFL are hard. I thought we were beyond wins with your team. I'm not talking about just fucking wins. I'm talking about championship teams and championship contenders. That's what I'm talking about. I'll tell you what I could do for you, Anthony. If you don't want me to have a champion mentality about your team and start rose pedaling it again, like many people in your city do, you want me to do that, rose pedal it? Sure. Then we can sit here. We can feed you all the bullshit in the world and sound like every other guy. What we do here is we try to get to the last 5% here. You know how many people, the difference between a champion. That Jared Goff won too, dude. I guarantee you, Jalen Hurts throws 5 picks. You ain't winning that game. No. You ain't winning that game. No, that's not happening. One of my issues last year was we played so close against crap opponents. This year looks different, mainly because of the secondary. I'm going to get there to you. Please hit the like button. By the way, give me a running total on our like number right now. I'd appreciate it because remember, that's the number I'm going to set, and we're going to try to beat that number each and every single day. I appreciate you guys coming aboard here. Can't thank you guys enough here. Objectively analyzed. RPO, level accuracy on deep balls, can read the needle when on the move, especially in the red zone. Tends to fall asleep in the pocket, gets greedy unnecessarily. Yeah, 139. Thank you. 139. That's what we'll write down. Try to beat that tomorrow. Let's see if we can get this bad puppy over 450 today. Appreciate you guys immensely. You guys are awesome. Hit the like button. Thank you, guys. All right. Zach Bond, let me get to the defense. Is the person in here that said that Sills, the defense is ahead of schedule? Is that person in here? Because I'd like to give you credit, and I'd like to walk back a comment. Birds have the best roster in the league. No, they don't. Weak spots are at quarterback and head coach. I think your edge rushers need some work. Hurts had 4 TOSs versus the Packers and 1. Be fair. Okay. Sure. Okay. All right. So he has turnovers. Be fair. Okay. And he won. You've played one winning team this year and beaten them. You've had one win against one team that has a winning record. I might be careful on that. I'm here, Sills. I said it. Flexin. By the way, Flexin, I stole the topic of yours today. Pat yourself on the back because I don't really do that a lot. Pat yourself on the back. Okay? Hit the like button. The defense is ahead of schedule. They are. I mean, I'm getting more and more impressed every week. And Flexin, I'm going to steal a topic of yours. How many people in here believe that the Philadelphia Eagle defense is outplaying the offense right now? I do. I think your defense has had a better run of it so far in the first 2.5 months of the season. I think your defense is playing better. It's a great topic, Flexin. Thank you. Yes, Flexin. Anybody that brings topics to the table and posts them on my Twitter page at Dan Sileo Show, you will get credit for that. We don't steal here. I reward people who give topics. You know how hard that is to come up with a topic like that? Okay? You're right, Flexin. I think the defense is outplaying the offense right now. And the defense does look better. It's a great comment by you. Okay? And you're right. And the defense is getting better. Players on that side of the ball are getting better. Sills, why are you judging Hurts with golf when golf had a shitty game? I compare Jared Goff is the most accomplished quarterback in the NFC next to Matthew Stafford. And at times, if you put his resume next to Stafford's outside the Super Bowl, he's done more. That's why. How many conference championship games has Hurts been to? How many 4,000-yard passing games or years has he had? He's also a guy who just had his team in the NFC championship game with a second team. He's been to a Super Bowl. Had a shitty game. Fucking happens. Ask your guy. Zander, I missed the super chat. I just went by me. If I could get it up, please. Thank you very much. See if I can get that super, Zander. You said beginning of the season yourself that this young defense can do what the Chiefs did last year and improve come this time. They will be Super Bowl contenders. I just said I'm going to know more Washington and the Rams and then Baltimore. Hey, do me a favor. Zander must be busy. If you whoever put that super chat up, I'll read it and just say that you sent that there because I missed one here and I want to make sure. There we go. Thank you. I know Zander's doing a bunch of stuff right now. You're welcome, Sills. You can steal anytime. Flexing was a great topic. I think your defense is playing better than your offense right now. It's been more consistent, Flexing. It has. You're right. And it is ahead of schedule. And what I love about it is the youth and the energy. Vic Fangio was getting killed by people like Jalen Ramsey last year when he was the DC down in Miami. Well, I'll tell you what, it just shows you, even if you're an old guy, you can connect with young players if young players are buying in. And they're buying in Philly with him. It's a perfect match. Jacoby Dean is benefiting from him. Zach Bond is playing out of his mind. I mean, Quinyon Mitchell looks like he fits. There's so many good things that was implemented in the offseason, mostly by Vic. Okay? Mostly by him. Get this. Even the tackling is starting to improve. Please hit the like button. We appreciate it. Hey, by the way, Trey Lance has got to be one of the worst quarterback prospects in the history of the National Football League. The 49ers gave up 3 first-rounders for that guy. Unbelievable. Drafting the kid and then 2 more. I mean, this guy's a worse pick by far than Carson Wentz. Wentz did things. This guy did nothing. It will go down as arguably one of the worst draft picks in NFL history. I say Trey Lance is a worse draft pick than Ryan Leaf. He's worse. Is quarterback our weakest position? No. Edge rushers. I don't really think your quarterback's a weak position. He just plays too up and down right now a little bit. He had a decent stretch, 3 games. But again, some of that stuff with a good coordinator, Mike Zimmer, it reappeared again. Buddy Ball is back. F them Cowboys and Parsons. Yeah, I got no respect for Parsons at all. Yeah, but here's the difference, though, Damon. This was 3 1s. Jamarcus Russell didn't cost 3 1s. Okay? What are your thoughts on the Eagles if we win 2 of the next 3 games? You're a Super Bowl contender. You want to hear it? I'll tell you. If you win 2 of the next 3 games, you're a Super Bowl contender. And if you win all 3, you'll be the leading contender for the NFC Championship. You will have validated the games you've played. And you are who you are then. Because this is the time of the year you start rounding into shape on what it is. And by the way, I think the Eagle defense is playing better and better and better and better and better every week. Without Barkley, and you could say our defense is our team thus far, Barkley has been the catalyst to the success of the offense. Hurts has superstars around him and plays average. Give me Burrow. Burrow, it's not even a question mark on what and who the better quarterback is with that. Yeah, they're playing. By the way, that defense is not playing down to the competition. At times, your offense does. At times, your offense does here. I think we had the best defense without a pass rush. I think we'll see. Again, the next 3 games are going to tell me a lot about your football team and about how far you can go. Hurts plays clean football. He can win any game in the postseason, especially if that defense is getting turnovers. There is no doubt. I'm more impressed with your defense so far through the midpoint of the season than I am your offense. I'm impressed with Barkley. Hurts doesn't impress me. A.J. Brown impressed. Here's the players on the offense that impress me. By the way, once again, another shitty performance with the passing game for Devontae Smith, and no complaints. Love it. That's quite a teammate. Last 2 weeks, this guy has had -2 yards receiving, and on Sunday, he had 1 catch from 14 yards. That's not going to result in a really great year. AJ probably will get 1,000, but the passing game has come down immensely from what it was a year ago. They are not throwing the ball. They're running the ball. Hey, I will say this, and I'll give Hurts this. Jalen Hurts is running the ball exceptionally. He is running the football and breaking teams' backs on 3rd down running the ball. He's not really breaking your back. You know, I hear people talking about throwing a deep pass and that Jalen throws the best deep pass. I can't tell you how many games that I've watched where he misses wide open dudes and he's laid on passes, especially when you have to go across the middle. Is he good on throwing deep passes on the number? Yes. Is he good at throwing deep passes across the middle of the field? No. Your elite quarterbacks are. I think at times Jalen tends to overthink his reads, but when he's locked in, that man could take us over the hump. If you get a performance like that from the Cowboy game, and you think Jalen Hurts can win you a Super Bowl playing half the game shitty, and then the other game showing you exceptional moments, you're not reading it right. You're just not. Get this. Okay? Here's C24. Hurts throwing on the spot needs to improve a little bit. Yeah, Jalen doesn't throw to wide receivers. He throws to areas. And if that area gets compromised by a secondary guy, why do you think the Dallas Cowboys had so many holding calls against them in the secondary? Anybody idea? Bobby, you in here? Why don't you tell the people why there were so many holding penalties by the Dallas Cowboys and what they were trying to accomplish? Tell me why you guys think they were doing that. Okay? Senor's in there. Senor's in there. Bob, tell these people what they're doing. They're trying to disrupt the routes of the Eagles because Hurts throws the spots, like C24 said. He doesn't throw to wide receivers. His anticipation on the cuts, not quite trusting. That's why he holds the ball too long. If you watch the game again, you could see it. The Cowboys had numerous calls in the secondary for holding. By the way, I'll take a holding penalty over a pass interference. So you know what you do? You grab the guy at the line of scrimmage. It's a great way to get over on pass interference. I'd rather hold you sooner than later. If I know you're going to go and you have a shot at getting open, I'm going to grab you. It's a lesser of a penalty. It's a lesser of a penalty, man. Plus, you may get away with it and disrupt the route. Akbar. By the way, please hit the like button, guys. Jalen looked like he's taking steps. I don't deserve an ass whipping. We know his shortcomings, and he could see it. He's working on it, even though he had a few ball-hugging plays. I mean, the sacks were on him. Hot take, Bond playing like the best player on defense. Nick, not only the best player on defense, one of the best players in the NFC. Unfortunately, he won't make first team All-Pro because that's not how the voting goes. If he could play like that next year, he'd probably make first team. Tim Waltz would be a better GM than Jerry. Might be a better linebacker coach, too, than Mike Zimmer right now. Mitchell's defensive rookie of the year. He's in the conversation. He's in the conversation. Okay? He is. He's better than I thought he was. By the way, again, you got to really kind of thank Vic Fangio for this. Why? Zone safeties, both these Cooper. Boy, I'll tell you what they did here, man. Those two gentlemen, Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell, they got the right coach for him. That is totally Vic Fangio. Those guys played zone in college, and it's translating right now. It's totally translating into the NFL. They understand the scheme. They understand the responsibilities. They know where to line up. They know how to play the coverage. They know where they're going and what they're doing here. Okay? Hey, and for the record, C24 brings up another point. Zander and I have gone back and forth on Darius Slay. Won't make the year. Every single game. And by the way, he's falling apart. That's why you're going to see more Isaiah Rodgers. Got to get Isaiah Rodgers up to speed. Here's the thing. That guy's not going to crack an egg when it comes to tackling. But I don't think you have to have that guy anymore. Not in today's NFL. I think you have to have cover corners. And whether or not those guys are, I mean, there's rules on tackling now and hip tackles. One of the most important plays that a corner had was the hip tackle. You can't even do that any longer. So getting a guy on the ground is more of a hurting thing. So I'm okay with Rodgers. Rodgers get more playing time out there. Dude, this stuff with Keely Ringo, he's not as good as Keely. He's not as good as Isaiah Rodgers. I don't believe that. Well, he's a better hitter. I don't give a shit about hitting right now. I care about covering. So since Vic has and was the defensive consultant for the Eagles in 22, now the DC, could Vic be the answer we've been missing since 22? He is the answer. Jalen is top 10, but elite minus turnovers. Here, this guy wants to tell you a third of the story. Okay? I mean, you got to remember something about Darius Slay, too. I mean, Darius Slay will not be a Philadelphia Eagle next year. This is it. And what you can do right now when you're a veteran guy is showing that you're working with younger players so that you would be a viable sign for some other football team. This is the last year in Philly. He's just about out of gas. Sills, is this defense better than 22 right now? Nick, that defense was second in the league in pass defense, and you had 70 sacks. What do you think? They had 70 sacks. Only the 85 Bears had more sacks, and they were second in pass defense. I mean, so the answer is no. Your edge rushers are not good enough. You had 3 guys that year with over 11 sacks. Graham, Sweat, and Reddick. 211s and a 16.5 sack guy. You're nowhere near that. And you had an interior line that had a defensive tackle with 11 sacks, and the backup, starter, Fletcher Cox, had 6.5. That was elite. Veterans. Now, I don't know what the upside is yet. I don't know. I think our 2024 secondary is better. D-line is not. So you had 2 Pro Bowl corners that year in 22, and Slay and Bradbury. You think you're going to have 2 Pro Bowl corners this year? I don't think you are. I don't think you are. Bradbury got a contract extension that paid him big money, and Slay was an all-pro. Your deep and your now your linebackers, Zach Bond covering TJ and potentially Jakobi having a year like Kaiser White, they're kind of online for the same year. Kaiser White had 120 tackles in 22. It was an exceptional year. That's kind of where Jakobi is right now. That defense in 22 is one of the better defenses in Eagle history. So you're talking about a historic defense, like Gang Green stuff. This defense is not historic. Is players making a scheme or vice versa? Abe, if you go back and you remember what Dave Wannstedt said, Dave Wannstedt said that it's not going to be a scheme issue on why the Eagles will suffer on defense if it doesn't work. It's going to be a player issue. You can draw up all the things. Now, again, here's what a good coordinator does. He finds the right players. Remember something. Let's take a look at how this team was supposed to be. Let's take a look how this team was supposed to be designed by Howie Roseman. And I know Zander likes to, and everyone in Philly likes to give Howie all the love in the world for building this defense and this roster, right? Okay. Who was supposed to be, at the beginning of your year, the edge rushers? The defense only has to be top 15 for us to go far. Yes, Bryce Huff and Nolan Smith. Okay? Your 3 guys down line, Milton, Jordan, and Jalen. Okay? I know. I'm working on it. Thank you, Shooter. Okay, so you got Davis, Milton, and you have Carter. Your interior linebackers were supposed to be Devin White and Jakobi. Your corners, Q and Slay. Safeties, Reed Blankenship, and Gardner Johnson. Let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. Okay, let's see how Howie's done here. What Vic has done to change this. Nolan Smith doesn't start. Your 2 edge rushers do not start. 30th pick and a $17.5 million sign. You got Brandon Graham and you got Josh Sweat signing at your edges now. They were trying to trade Josh. So your 2 edge rushers, Howie was trying to have those two guys as the starters. Vic said no, they're not good enough. Devin White was brought in to be an interior linebacker. That's out. Jordan Davis is getting less reps than the backups now. This pick down here is Clint Hurt and Vic Fangio giving more reps right now. Okay? To the backups. So let's take a look at this. 1, 2, 3, 4 of the 11. Vic's changed out to guys that he thought. And by the way, Zach Bond wasn't supposed to start in the middle. He wasn't earmarked to be a starting inside linebacker. Vic made the move to put him in place of White. So people are telling me, well, how he gets credit for... No, he didn't find him. He signed him. Vic found him. Okay? Vic found him. Okay? And by the way, the slot, you brought Monte Maddox back. Well, that didn't work. So now you get your rookie in there, Cooper. Okay? And that's a draft pick. You got 2 rookie draft guys now playing, Q and Cooper in the nickel. Right? 4 of those men were supposed to be Howie signs. Vic Fangio changed them out. He doesn't get credit, Yale, for somebody saying, I know and knew he was going to be good. And hey, Yale, well then Yale thinks Howie gets credit for that. For Zach Bond. You know why he doesn't? Well, why can't he draft a linebacker in the last... And by the way, I still see Nakobe making false steps. I didn't think he played great in that game. I thought he was okay. He's not killing you. He's getting better. But I didn't think... he's not special right now. Why can't he draft a linebacker then? To save his life. He does. Okay. Name me 3 linebackers that he has signed, Yale, since he's been head of personnel that have been great for the Eagles on defense. Name me 3. 3 great linebackers that he's drafted. Oh, now it's who cares? Well, don't make a fucking comment like that and tell me he does and then go, who cares? Okay. You can't name them because there isn't any. Because there isn't one. Oh, okay. Who cares? Who cares that he... Get this. Dean is not a Pro Bowler. Dean's playing decent ball. Now he's a top 5 GM when I just make a point. Yeah. It's like it's like giving credit to Nick Sirianni for being a great coach because his record is what it is. I'm not debating this. So let's go to the numbers here. Then we'll do our game balls in order. $34-6. Taking care of business against a shitty team. First downs. 24 first downs, 11 for the Cowboys. The Cowboys offense is in ruin right now. I'm not sure I've ever seen it this bad. Sills, they folding when those real questions need to be answered. Yeah, they're not going to do that because they've got green glasses on. That's okay. I'm not killing that. I actually like Yale. I think he does a great job. Third down. Eagles have been terrible at it. But third down doesn't really matter when you're running people over in the run game. 4 of 11. I can't remember, but maybe 2 or 3 games this year where they've had that number north of 50% on third down. They're not one of the better third down teams. But when you're a running team, you don't really have to have that number because the majority of the time you're in third and one or second and one, and you're getting first downs because you're running the hell out of the ball. So it's not really a number when you're a running football team. The Eagles are a running football team. You may not have one wide receiver this year over 1,000 yards. Eagles heads Kenrick, Jordan, Hicks, Edwards. Edwards was not drafted. Kaiser was a free agent. Oh, didn't keep any of them. Right. Correct. Because they don't know what they're looking at linebacker. They have no idea. Just like, here, let's do this. To Yale's point, who gets credit for recommending the Eagles when they draft an offensive lineman? You think that's all? You think that's Howie, or you think that's Jeff recommending the players that he wants him to sign? Or do you think Howie's just picking? Yeah, I got that one, Zander. Awesome. Thank you, Sal. This offense is tailored around Barkley. Yes. Yes, it is tailored around him. Seals, the real issue with this linebacker group is that Dean and Bond are playing so well that it will convince Howie that he can continue to ignore the position. Vic will be expected to do more with less. Yes. Remember something. Vic found this guy in special teams in New Orleans and was recommended by Vic Fangio. That wasn't a sign where that guy evaluated. He doesn't evaluate linebackers well. That's his history. I mean, it's totally the history. By the way, you don't think that guy had any influence on drafting that style of cornerback when it came to the zone corners that you signed and drafted, and Cooper DeJean and Quinyon Mitchell? You don't think that had anything to do with the scheme of plug and play? Well, if you think that, then everything I've said to you, you have no idea what I'm talking to you about. Okay? Nothing. Please hit the like button. 65 total plays for the Eagles. That's around the right number. I'll tell you one thing that they're doing great on defense. Man, they are holding a bunch of teams under 60 plays. When you do that, you are going to win ball games big time. Okay? You're going to win a shitload of games. Total yards. I can't remember the last team that a team had over 200 yards of total offense versus that defense. Eagles 348, Cowboys 146. God, that thing's bad. However, they killed them. They killed them. Okay? Did they do their job? Yes. Did they smash a shitty team? Yes. They didn't do what they did in Cleveland, and they didn't do what they did in the Jaguar game. Let them hang around. They killed them. Alex Singleton, who's now on Denver, really good ball player. Okay? Passing 161. I'm not sure I've ever seen this. John McMullen and I were laughing at this. I can't remember the last time I've seen a team have 49 yards passing. I mean, honest to God, and I'll make this a Sills thing, I think the last time I've seen a team have 49 yards passing is what we did against Penn State in the national title game. I think we held them to like 30 yards passing or some shit. I mean, that's the last time I remember a number like that. In that national title game, I think we held Penn State to 30 yards passing and lost. Rush, 187 on 38 attempts. The attempts are getting great. They're dwarfing the quarterback passing the ball. John thinks that's situational. I think that's now schematically what they're looking at doing. I think that's schematics. Cowboys 24 carries, 97. That's probably one of the Cowboys' best efforts this year was that. 5 sacks Hurts had on him, holding the ball. Cooper Rush had 3 sacks alone on him. I mean, expected. You held the ball for 34 minutes. Cowboys had it 20. Cowboys had the ball 26 minutes and threw the ball for 49 yards. I've never seen anything like that. Please hit the like button. Individually, you're starting to see this trend now with Jalen. 20 attempts. Remember what I told you? Zander, I think you may remember it too. If you have Hurts throw the ball between 20 and 25 times, you're going to win a ton of games. Because that means they got back to a style of 22. And that's what they're doing here. 14 of 20, 202, 2 TDs, that horrible interception, put the ball on the carpet as well. But again, proficient, accurate, and using the pass when needed because of the threat of the run game. Because of the threat of the run game. Here, 14 carries, 66 yards for Saquon Barkley. You know, do you understand something in today's NFL because of 17 games? Just to get 1,000 yards in today's NFL, all you have to do is get 60 yards a game. And you're on pace to get yourself 1,000 yards. I mean, so he's above the average, and that's below his average this year. That's exception. That shows you how exceptional he's been this year. We pulled away in the game when we started to run. Absolutely. They started throwing that bullshit early in the game. Hurts got sacked. They got smart, went back to the run. Absolutely true. That's exactly right, Nick. They were throwing the ball. Hurts was taking sacks, kept the game close. I kept saying the same thing as I'm watching it. Run the ball, run the ball. You'll run them off the scoreboard. In my pregame, if you go back and listen to the pregame, what did I say, Zander? Run them off the scoreboard. Get that ball and run that thing right down their throat. Dallas can't stop it. You give them the ability to stop and get sacks and 3 and outs, you're going to keep them in the ball game. You're not a high-powered offense when it comes to throwing the ball. Look, like I said, here, I'm going to make a point to you guys on how this is changing from the last 2 years. And you'll understand where I'm coming from here. And I'm not bitching about it. You're getting back to being you're more proficient. I mean, Barkley's 9 yards away right now from having 1,000 yards rushing. I mean, he's having an exceptional year. Here's where we are right now. And this is what it looks like. And this is what it's going to look like by the end of the year. Hurts is on pace right now for 23 touchdowns, 9 picks, 3,700 yards, 69 quarterback rating. It almost mirrors 22. It was 37-01, 22 touchdowns, 9 picks or 7 picks. It's the same. They know what they're doing now with this. Do you understand? He is playing like 22 now. That's why he can get away with some of these footballs that are on the carpet now. He's never going to be a 4,500-yard passer. That's not – I'm not telling you that he has to be, because now you've added the component of Barkley. That's his groove. Okay? That's his groove. Like I said, if you go back and you look at Hurts's numbers from 22, you'll exactly see what I'm talking about here. Here's the numbers here. On where Hurts is right now and where Hurts is trending right now to be and what Hurts did in 2022. Here's exactly the numbers here. Um, and by the way, remember something. When I say this, you're going to see the same stuff. Here's his numbers in 2022, where he went 14-1, 66.5 quarterback rating. Right now, Hurts is at 69.8, which is great. Hurts in 2022, 37.01. Hurts right now is trending for 37.32, right on the number. Hurts in 2022, 22 touchdown passes and 6 picks. Hurts right now is on pace for 23 touchdowns and 9 picks, almost right on the screws. I mean, every single thing that he did in 2022, Kellen Moore and the coaching staff have gone back and looked at it, and they're seeing what he's doing right now and what he did then. Think about this in 22 rushing wise. He was averaging 50 yards a carry. Last year, that number went down to 35 yards a carry. Now he's at 45 yards a carry, almost right on the number and on the screws. They're playing him as the player they bought, not the player they wanted it to be. They've come to grips. That's how we're going to win a Super Bowl. And it's playing that way out. Okay? I mean, everything is right on the number. If you're the Eagles, do you try to bring in Leonard Fournette? I wouldn't mind looking at him. He's won a Super Bowl, can catch the football, could spell. But they love Kenny Gainwell. Okay? Here, let me do this. It's a great take here. By the way, please hit the like button. Sills, it kind of reminds me of the Seahawks with beast mode, or kind of reminds you Russell Wilson right now with Najee Harris and what he's doing in Pittsburgh. Not a ton of yards down the field, proficient, run the ball, be effective. Wilson throws a nice deep ball, but he's got what? Fabulous defense, a generational coach, and they can run the ball in Pittsburgh. They basically have formed themselves into the old Seahawks team. I mean, it looks like Seattle. Okay? How many 10 rushing TD seasons go? 10 rushing seasons don't mean dick. Rushing quarterbacks, the quarterbacks that have won Super Bowls, none of them have had over 6. None of them. Not one. Mahomes had 2. Brady's had none. I'm talking about championship quarterback, Super Bowl winners. None. 0. The running quarterback has not done that yet. None of them. None. None in the history of the sport. 0. None. Steve Young's best year had 6. That's who it is. Steve Young had 6 the year he beat the Chargers. I believe he had 6 the year he won that MVP award and went to the Super Bowl. And remember something. That year also, Steve Young led the NFL in passing percentage. Now, Young was an exceptional runner. Rushing touchdowns. Steve Young. 7 it was. Excuse me. He had 7. He had 7 that year. I believe they won in 94. if I'm not mistaken. I think it was the 94 year that they won that Super Bowl. He had 7. Nobody in the history of the sport has done that. And by the way, like I said, that year, Steve Young was exceptional in the passing game that year in 94. I think they won the Super Bowl, and I think he was all pro that year in 94. He led the NFL in so many statistics that year. Yeah, he led the NFL 70% completion percentage, 35 touchdown passes. He was exceptional. Went 13-3, threw for 39, 69. Young's got a couple 4,000-yard passing season. Steve Young was a weapon. Okay? McNair didn't win the Super Bowl. But what I'm showing you is they're playing Hurts the same way now that they played in 22. It's on the number. Okay? It's on the number. Seals, we are doing better than what you were saying during this offseason. Your defense is doing better than what I said during the offseason. Cooper and Q are big-time players. Can't say how he can't draft D anymore. It's not true. Okay? Jordan Davis sucks. N'Kobe's okay. And 2 out of 24 attempts at corner, okay. Congratulations. Nolan Smith is okay. Sills, the last 3 to 4 games appear to have given this young defense confidence and belief they can do it. Hopefully, Vic has the ability to deflate and inflated egos. I think he has. Very possible to look good, but play bad. Yes. Okay. Yes. AJ got his numbers. 5 catches, 109. The rest of them got nothing. Devontae, 1 catch, 14 yards. Goddard had 2 for 25 and a touchdown. I thought they should have kept going to him more. That would have helped Jalen's passing game a little more, but they go away from Goddard. For whatever reason, they just don't make him part of the offense. Dallas Goedert in the tight end position, it's got to be one of the only positions in pro football that has no place in the Eagle offense. It's just not part of the game plan. And the only time that it's part of the game plan for Jalen Hurts is when there's an injury at one of the perimeter guys. You ever notice that? The tight end position is not part of the offensive game plan. A couple throws here, 5 or 6. And the only reason Goddard had a great game, I think either against New Orleans or Atlanta was because there were injuries in the passing game. I mean, they don't make the tight end position a priority at all, really. It's got to be frustrating to be a tight end in Philadelphia when being a tight end in Philadelphia meant something. And those were the guys. Okay? Those were the dudes. Zach Bond, 8 tackles, 3 solos. Gardner Johnson kind of got going here. 7 tackles, 2 assists. Cooper DeJean, 6 and 3. Milton Williams, 2 tackles, 2 assists. You had an opportunity here to get a sack, tackle for loss. Bryce Huff showed up, tackle, sack, tackle for loss. Cowboy numbers are terrible. Cooper Rush, 13-23 for 45 yards passing. Lane or Trey Lance, 4-6, 21 yards passing and a pick. Ricky Ricardo, 15 carries, 53 yards. I mean, Dallas Cowboys were just terrible in that game. And a lot to do with the way that the Eagle defense was playing, too. Okay? Did you cry when the Eagles got beat down? Or the Cowboys got beat down? Why? I'm not a fucking Cowboy fan. Who told you that, dumbass? Eagles are still predictable, but Barkley and Hurts running forces teams to play. They are. The running of Jalen has, since the bye, Jalen Hurts' running ability has been better than his passing ability. And he's been more efficient with throwing the ball. Okay? I get this. Listen to this guy, and shows you what he doesn't know. Zach Ertz, they went to the tight end. Jalen Hurts didn't develop fucking Zach Ertz. Carson Wentz did. He was a Pro Bowler, Zach Ertz, with Carson Wentz, not fucking Jalen Hurts. And how could Dallas Goedert be developed when he misses 25% of his game every year? How in the world are you developing someone who's not on the field? Developing? This guy doesn't know dick. That's not a fact. He's a better passer than runner. No, he's not. Anybody who says that's an idiot. Yeah. And Nick Foles developed Zach Ertz. Absolutely. Jalen Hurts, Zach Ertz. Sure. Okay. Right. Big Sills Game Balls. Zander's going to join us at 3:30. Gary Cobb will join us at 4:30. Billy, what's your problem? What aren't you liking what I'm saying here? I'm missing it. You let me know. Game balls. Put them in order. Get this. Who's Jalen developed? You mean AJ's developed? Hurts, because when AJ's not in the ball game, Hurts looks like shit. When receivers are taken away or not with some of the players around the league that don't have big personnel in the offensive side of the ball, their offense doesn't fall off the planet. This is in order, my game balls. Who do you think was the MVP of that game? What Eagle would you put as the MVP of that game against Dallas? Hurts can make every throw except across the middle of the field consistently. No, he can't. How about a check down game? That might help. You talk all that about Philly is pretenders and won't make the playoffs, but now your sorry ass Canes won't make the playoffs. How you doing? They'll fucking make it. It's 12 teams, dude. They'll make it because the ACC sucks. Okay? Vaughn. So get this. Here, just to show you here. Somebody just said Jalen Hurts is the MVP, a guy who fumbled the ball, missed passes, INT. He was the MVP of the game. Okay. Zach Vaughn is number one game ball for me in that game. Number two, as it always is, A.J. Brown, 109 yards. He is without a doubt a top 3 receiver. You know what? If you took, what receiver would you take ahead of A.J. Brown? What receiver would you take ahead of A.J. Brown? Right, Crowley. It'll look bad for them. Clemson Tigers all day. That is a worry in the ACC title game. Let's see. Justin Jefferson. I would. Anyone else? Justin Jefferson is probably the only wide receiver that I would take over A.J. Brown right now. I mean, absolutely. Number 3, I didn't think I'd put this guy on my list. I got Gardner Johnson, 7 tackles in the game. I thought he played really well in this game. It was his best game of the year so far. Number 4, I got Milton Williams. 2 tackles, 2 assists, sack, TFL. He played really well in this game. Actually, he's played well the last 3. Jalen Carter, 4 tackles, 2 assists, half a sack, and a tackle for loss. He's a force in the middle. He is my game ball 5. Number 6, I got Hurts here. Because, like some of you say, he stunk in the first half. And when they decided to run the ball, that's when that offense started opening up more. The downfield throws open. You ever notice the downfield throws open up more when he runs? When he starts running, those downfield throws open up for him. And he connects. But when he opens the game throwing the ball, Shitty was sacked 3 times in the first 4 drives, and he killed one of those that was a promising drive, and I think it was the first drive. Then he had a 3 for 33. 3rd and 33. I mean, think about how that looked. First 4 drives, they were trying to throw the ball. They ended in a sack in that sequence, screwed that whole thing up. That's the quarterback. And that's on the quarterback. Game ball 7. I got Reed Blankenship here. Reed's a solid ball player. I agree with John McMullen. Okay? I do. 8. You know, I'm going to make a proclamation here about the 2 rookies. I like Cooper DeJean's skill set more than I do Keanu Mitchell. I can do more with him. I could play him in the slot. I might be able to play him at corner. Shit, I might be able to play him at strong safety. I think I could do more with him. I mean, I'm not even sure where I'm going to play him yet. Should I keep him in the nickel? I don't know. Should I try him at corner? Get his ass out there on the corner? See what he can do at the corner? I mean, or do you want him to take over for Gardner Johnson? Okay? I mean, where are you going to play him? And what would be the best place to play him? Now, again, if you notice, I think they've started to take him off those special team things because he's becoming too important to what their attack is going to be defensively. So I'd be concerned with, his durability right now. Remember, there's going to be a rookie wall for these 2 players around week 12 because that's the games they play, and it happens to every rookie. So be prepared for that. Okay? This happens to every rookie. It doesn't matter who you are. Remember this. You guys are loving Quinyon Mitchell now and Cooper DeJean now. Well, the rookie wall is coming. Between 12 and 13 weeks. And we're starting to approach that now. Now, Cooper didn't really play a lot of exhibition football. Q's played a lot of downs. Is that going to wear him out? Playing in the NFL versus playing college football, it's completely a different thing. Okay? So let's see what kind of shape they're in, because that's going to determine. And by the way, because you're in great shape and you can run on a treadmill, that doesn't necessarily mean you know how to play. I mean, Jordan Davis is still trying to figure that out. I think Jalen Carter is figuring that out. Okay? So here Sills go with his rookie wall. Get this, folks. Look at this here. Folks, is this guy right? There's no such thing as a rookie wall. Here Sills goes with his rookie wall nonsense. How many people believe me or him? So even when Vic Fangio says it, that he's played a lot of downs and you got to worry about that because he's never exceeded it. Vic said, clairvoyant, Vic said it. What would you know, dude? You're out in your parking lot playing flag football. They do. Yeah, don't tell him that. Speaking of your young defense, do we have enough veteran presence to sustain this defense in the playoffs? Good question. I think there's enough. I do. I get Q at 9. And I cannot not give Saquon Barkley a game ball 10. Usually he's up in the top 3, but that guy is too good of a football player and too important of that offense. By the way, you can tell he's getting nicked up and banged up. Is rookie wall all set because we played bad teams? It's a good point. More confidence because of naive bravado. That's a good point. You know, but think about it. Q's played against some pretty good wideouts. Jamar Chase, the list goes down the line there. He's played some pretty good folks, man. Mike Evans. So, you may be playing against some shitty teams, but that doesn't necessarily mean that you're not playing against good man-on-man, one-on-one competition there. Thank you for the super chats, everybody. Please hit the like button here. We appreciate it. They're both athletic enough to jump the wall. Okay, we'll see. Okay? We'll see. So I think Scary Terry versus Q will be a wall matchup. See, here's the thing here too, Brian. It's a good point because that's going to be a great matchup on Thursday night. Totally is. Thomas, thank you. Side note, dual threat is the most annoying ear-curling sound I've ever heard, and I absolutely love it. I'm a diehard Eagle fan, and I can't imagine a week without the show. Thank you, Thomas. Thank you very much, man. Dual threat. Dual threat. Absolutely, man. By the way, Zander will join us at the bottom of the hour. Love you, Sills, but you make me question whether the Eagles really won or not because the quarterback stunk. No, that's not what I said. Still seems like you go out of your way to find faults with the quarterback to win or lose. Do you think this is about the Cowboy game or about these teams that you've played? you're Philly, you're not listening to me. This is bigger than the Cowboy game. You guys are so micro in what you're looking at with your football team that you're not seeing the big picture. This is I have big picture conversations, not tiny conversations in a box like you guys want to have. Hey, if you want to root that you killed the Cowboys, so be it. That's not what I'm talking about here. I'm talking about the last game of the year here, the Super Bowl, an NFC title game. You're talking about beating a team that I predicted will win 5 games this year. That's what you're cheering on? I'm not going to stop that because that's okay. Okay? It's a big picture. I have big picture conversations with you. Building, becoming the best. Where are you now versus where you were 4 weeks ago? That's what I talk about. Eagle fans aren't used to winning Super Bowls, so they revert to being narrow-minded and brag about beating trash teams on the regular. Got to start thinking about bigger picture like they do in Kansas City. Let me ask you this. That's scary. If the Kansas City Chiefs had lost to the Broncos, do you think that would have affected their season in any way? No, they'd have moved on. To whomever they have, I think Bills coming up. Okay? Look at the Chiefs record. And look at the teams and the quarterbacks they're playing. They're beyond talking about beating the Broncos. You know, the Broncos and the Raiders are just a bigger rival to the Chiefs as the Cowboys are to the Eagles. But it's not about beating those teams anymore. Kansas City Chiefs are chasing down history. They're on a historic run. I can't remember the last time the Chiefs lost. And you know what you get out of people? Well, still, they're not really playing well. I know. And they're 9-0. Hey, how would you like that one? You know, the quarterback's really not playing all that great. And somehow they're 9-0. You know why? Because they have the trifecta. Coaching, quarterback, roster, which means GM. And if you want to put the fourth one in there, owner. Isn't it funny that stupid-ass NFLPA thing comes out every year on the best organizations? You know what the Chiefs got? An F. How can a team be undefeated, chasing down a 3rd Super Bowl, and a 4th in Patrick Mahomes' time, and be an F for a franchise? You know why? Because the players vote on it. Players vote on that thing. See, in Kansas City, it's not about fancy couches or Slurpee machines. It's about winning. That's what it's about. Sills, if it's big picture, why do you forget how he outplayed Mahomes? He didn't outplay Mahomes. Mahomes made the play that won the game. Yeah, but he had a better stat line. He had a better stat line than Patrick Mahomes. I thought the stat line that Patrick Mahomes finds a way to win every game. That's why you say that thing about Jared Goff last night. 5 picks, and they won. Okay. That's how you build that resiliency up. Look at Jalen. Jalen played poorly. Or no, in the first half. Think about it. When they wanted to throw the ball, 3 or 4 drives were stopped because of sacks that he took by holding the ball too long. Those are facts. And when they got back to running it, what happened? Opened up single coverage, and he started dropping those dimes in the second half. So let's do this. Before we bring Zander on here, First part of the test, you got a C minus. Second half, you got an A. Congratulations to you. You fucking failed half the test, and then you ended up in the second half making up for the shitty first half, and you walk out of there, hey, I'm on the podium. I got a C. Sound like Zander and me when we were in school. All right. Do me a favor. Please hit the like button. Appreciate it. Let me get this one before we get Zander. Still sorry for the take you away from football for a minute. You going to watch John Jones fight this weekend? You kidding me? Hey, by the way, you know he's related to Chandler Jones, former pass rusher for the Arizona Cardinals. John Jones is the greatest MMA fighter of all time, and that says a lot for me because I'm a Khabib guy. And John Jones is, I agree with Dana, one of the greatest fighters in the history. All right.